this is part 2. I'm struggling with this videoing. I think I need a bit of advice of someone who knows what they're doing, because I clearly don't. So my camera just went off then on my phone, so I have no idea why. So yeah, I just got to the stage where I was telling you what I'd have on once I'm in camp. So now I'm going to show you my sleep system, and then we'll move on to some of the other stuff that I carry as well, like my cooking stuff. And I'll try and give you some tips on when you're initially pegging out your tent. So yeah, so let's have a look at what else I've got. So all the rest of this stuff, apart from obviously I'm carrying all this. Everything that you see here will be carried by me inside my pack, inside my 70 litre Z packs. So that's me 70 litre Z packs there. Obviously you can see I've got a pouch there, water bottle holder with my whistle on, and 2 hip belt pouches. So get into the sleep system. In the back there you can see I've got my Arios pillow, a Cetusum Arios pillow, and then I've got my Big Agnes pillow as well. And then underneath that I've got my Enlightened Equipment quilt, the one that goes down to 5 degrees C. Then I've got my Nemo Equipment Extreme Conditions sleep mat, and then my Light AF mat that I put underneath that. Over here is my Durston X Dome tent with my poles and my Easton pegs. This is my M cloth. If you haven't got one of them, I highly recommend them because they're just so absorbent, it's unreal. Then that's my food. That's the leftover of what I took the other night. So even I took a sandwich up and some, bits and bats, and that lot there is my nuts and my main meal and some soups and some drinks and stuff like that. That weighs 450 grams. Then I've got my fire maple pot, 600ml pot, with my Wild Oak collapsible mug. And then that actually goes inside that red bag underneath. I've got my plastic Sea to Summit spoon. Then I've got my Alt Kit electrics bag. And that's got... what I forgot to mention on my video was if you put one of these heat things in there, you can use it for warming up your hand. So this bag I'll use for rehydrating my meals, storing my electricals at a good temperature. And then if I need to warm my hands up quickly with one of these heat hand warmer things, what they called hot hands, then I've got a good little haven for rewarming hands if they do get really cold or whatever. And then this core hoodie and this buff that'll go in one of my hip belt pouches. This is the field dressing, the military field dressing. They're designed for, sucking chest wounds and gunshot wounds and all sorts, but they expand incredibly once, when you put them into action. The actual wrapper itself, that can be used for puncture wounds, and then you put the bandage over it. So if you've got a sucking chest wound, you can use it on that. But I just think that they're worth carrying because, you don't know, you could be going up some gully or whatever with people above you, if you've not prepared properly and brought an helmet and then a rock hits your head, or a chunk of ice, something like that, then you're going to be glad you brought that. It cost, I think it's about $10 or something like that off eBay. But yeah, that, and I have a mini first aid kit. You've got to prepare for the worst, haven't you, and hope for the best. So that's that. That's some tissue. So that and that tissue there, toilet tissue, that'll go in my shoulder pouch on my strap. Then in my side pouches at the bottom of my rucksack, I could put them in one pouch. That's me 1 litre Avenue collapsible bottles. They go in my shoulder strap pouches. So that I'll put a mixture of them electrolyte tablets in there, so that I can neck one of them as soon as I get there, and that one I just keep following up as necessary. Then I've got a pair of sunglasses. So these sunglasses, they're just thinner sunglasses. So why I like these is that they do provide quite a lot of protection for your eyes. So obviously, like in winter, if you're going to be going out, you're going to be, depending on what the winter conditions are, because UK winter can be a mixed bag. But if you're going out to the Alps or the Pyrenees or wherever, then you're going to be wearing goggles, aren't you? So yeah, but it's really important to protect your eyes. You can do your eyes some serious damage, with the UVs. So yeah, so they're the ones that I just would wear. So you keep in my pouches and stick on if the sun comes out. Yeah, that's my multi-mat, my sit mat. I use that as a kneel pad for getting in and out of my tent. We'll just go again through the electrics as well. So that's my GoPro, which I'm still don't know how to use yet, but I'm learning. Pet cell binder, my Nightcore charger, 10,000 milliamps, flex tail pump, a couple of tiny USB leads, little radio and earphones. That's my Zero, what's it called? Goal Zero lamp. It's great, that. It's really powerful, lasts for ages once it's charged. And then that's another kind of first aid and repair kit. It's got all sorts in there, tenacious tape, a little pen knife, sort of basic bandages, Dioralite, and some paracetamol, and there's a few other bits I can't remember. But yeah, it's definitely worth taking things like that. So I just want to give you a little tip as well with tent pegs. So when you get to camp and you get your tent out, and if it's howling wind, you don't want your tent blowing away, do you? So this is what I do, right? I get one of my guy lines or the corner of my tent, and then the loop or your guy line, basically stick a peg in, pass the loop over the tent peg, and you see that little bit there. So the guy line will be going underneath that there. And then what I do then is I stick that in like that, and that way there's no chance of the guy line flipping over the top, because that's trapping it in. And that way you can't lose your tent, because that is going to be a real serious problem if you lose the tent, and it's happened to people, I know that. So yeah, it's all right, people saying tie it to your rucksack, that's all well and good as well, but sometimes you might even want your rucksack to be handy behind a rock or something like that, because I've been once I was on Kinder Scout when they had that was it Storm Dennis, when they first started naming them, and my rucksack, it was at night, and my head torch was inside my pack, and I put my pack down, and it actually blew over one of the dunes, and I was struggling. I had a Saliwa, I forget the name of the tent now, Saliwa, I forget anyway, but it was like a tunnel tent, and it filled up with wind, and I'm like holding onto it like some sort of parasite, and it was ragging me, and in the end I had to sort of dive on my tent and then pack it all back up. I bailed that night. It's the first time I bailed in the UK ever, that. But yeah, so that's a good little tip. That you notice that my cords are shorter. Again, it's just saving a few grams in it. You can go to whatever length you want to save weight, but some people might think that's ridiculous. To me, it's just one of them things, isn't it? So yeah, so that's a good tip, that. So my tent, my X Dome is in that. So that's a Sea to Summit bag. It is, how many litres is it? I can't see. I'll put that on the thing. But the reason that I choose that over the one that comes with it is because most tents that I've got, all the tents I've got, I never use the bags they come in, because like the X Dome, for example, it comes in like quite a cylindrical tube type thing. Obviously the idea is to wrap the poles up in your tent and stuff like that, but I always have my tents, my pegs and my poles separate. And the reason being is because if it's howling wind, I want to get my tent pegs ready. I want to erect my poles and get them ready, because they're unlikely to blow away. And then when I'm getting my tent out, I do what I told you to do there. But then when it comes to packing it up, I can get handfuls of it, and I can stick handfuls of the tent inside the Sea to Summit Sill nylon bag, and I can press it to nothing then. So I prefer that method. Again, it's not me saying, you should do it this way, it's just something that I prefer. So yeah, I just, and I like the fact that I can get it, squashed down to nothing, and it's got air in it there, so I can get it probably half that size there when I put a bit of weight on. So yeah, so that's pretty much that. These little things, what I do with these is like if I come to a point where it's hard to get me pegging. So what I'll do, I'll just show you again. Say you can't, you've got the you come to the limit of the tabs on the tent. So what I'll do is I'll clip that in the tab on the tent. So imagine that's the tab on the tent. So I'll put that into that, and then I've got that hole there, and I can obviously like adjust it to suit. So it just gives you that bit more room to maneuver, if you hit a rock or something like that. So yeah, so that's that, and then there's the Panyam. That's the Panyam sleeping bag. I mean, these things I absolutely love them. This is 65-35 fill, but if you look at the zips on this, I don't know if this is picking it up, but they're like. Sorry, I'll try. I'll start the other end. No, I'll show you it. If you just look at, so it's a different zip at that end than it is at this end. If you look at that there, look, see how big these zips are. I don't know if you're catching this, but in fact I'm going to do it another way. Just wait a minute. I need some film crew, don't I? It's not as easy as it looks making these films. But yeah, if you look at that, see how big that, and it's kind of curved. I just think the zips are really cool on these. They never snag. That one at the bottom obviously is a different type because you don't want to get zip rise. So yeah, so inside this, obviously you've got your shoulder collar as well. But yeah, so it's 35% stuffed on the bottom and then 65%, on the top bit. I mean, look how thick these things are. I mean, that's not long since been out of my rucksack. That's not fully lofted yet. So yeah, so that's it. So I hope it's been useful. Sorry it's been in two parts, but I hope it's been useful for someone, especially those who were not quite sure, what's best to do to get your weight down. But I think that there's a number of YouTubers who are kind of on the border of being backpackers, fast packers, or bushcrafters. And you can tell by the mishmash of gear they're wearing. I mean, I wouldn't dream of wearing any of this foul raven stuff at all. Not in the UK. No, it's too damp, and then if that stuff gets wet, that's for in the woods when you're doing your bushcraft type stuff here. But I'm mostly about fast and light and efficiency. So I don't like faff. I'm not there with me ferro rods and all this kind of stuff. I've got an igniter on my Soto Windmaster burner, and I carry a tiny little Bic lighter as a backup as well. It's like 10 grams or something like that. So yeah, if you've got any tips for me, let me know. Let me know what you think. If you think it's a load of shite, I'm all ears. But like I say, and I said it before, I'm doing what I prefer, what my pretty much life experience really. I started going out in the outdoors at 12 years old. I'm 63 now, so this works for me, and a lot of it's tried and tested. And it's not set in concrete as well, because most of this stuff is fairly new, really. It's definitely within the last couple of years. I know over the years, because this is my hobby, something I'm passionate about, I've stuck with different brands and I've tried them, and for years, for probably 20 years, 25 years even, I was with mountain equipment. I loved it. I had the light line mountain equipment duvet. My first one I got when I was 13. It was gifted to me by a guy called Brian Cropper. He was the manager of the White Chase shop on Deansgate in Manchester. He was given to it by Pete Hutchin himself, who was the owner of mountain equipment and the the founder of it, and then he went on, sold that, and then went on to PhD. So yeah, so I've tried all sorts, but a PhD as well. Like I said before, you're paying a lot of money for that gear, but the problem is with all gear is that these manufacturers, when the branding stuff and the marketing stuff and that, they tell you figures, and I believe in empirical evidence. Me, some of this stuff doesn't perform as it should, and you can waste a lot of money, but you don't have to spend a fortune. Obviously, like if you're buying Cumulus and you've got import tax now, we're not in the EU, but the Lightline Martin equipment duvet served me well. I've had, I think, I'm not sure if I've had 3. I've definitely had 2. The first one I kept from being, like I say, 13 till I was 25. Obviously, I got it off Brian Cropper, who was a bloke, and I was a kid when he gave me, so I kind of grew into it, and I used it in the army as well. I used to wear it underneath my combats and stuff like that in the German winters. I was in Germany for 9 years, mostly around the Harz Mountains in Bavaria. So yeah, anyway, I'm waffling now, but yeah, if you've got any suggestions or whatever, just let me know. So, like I said, I'm sorry this is in 2 parts, and I'm going to get better at this, I promise you. Right, take care, everybody. Good night and God bless.